Hi all, happy November. It feels like November has just begun, which it has, but it also feels like it's almost over because there is no school Friday, and next week it's a minimum day all week long, 1 p.m. dismissal all week long. The week after that, it's Thanksgiving, and then the Monday after that is a faculty academy, no school for students. So while November has just begun, it is really almost over also. There's a couple events coming up. Next week, it's the sixth grade conferences. I'll say more about that on a different slide. Veterans Day is Friday, yay. But the 17th, there's this really fun fall family chili cook-off thing that's happening. There's another slide for that. I'll mention that in a minute. Thanksgiving week. And then for eighth graders especially, but really for anyone, on Thursday, December 1st, we're doing a high school choice parent academy. We're trying to gather together alumni from other schools in addition to LBUSD and the IVA high school team to come and talk. I have some serious information or maybe education to give to you. And I'll try to say this quickly. Maybe your advisory group can discuss it if there's more, like come back to this slide. Twice this year, IVA has intervened and supported when a student has sent another a naked photo or video to other students in the school. Two different times this has happened this year, and I want you all to know what the process is when this happens so that you're aware of it. First, there are criminal and legal consequences for sending and receiving naked photos in media. It is abusive behavior to send this kind of media, and so that people that receive it are victims of abuse. And so our intervention and adult intervention is required and necessary. Our process is that IVA immediately calls families. So on Saturday, I received a message from one of our families that there was a group thread, and I called every single family right then. That means that there is no time when sending a photo to another student is ever a private matter, because once you have given away any sort of content, they might at any moment send it again. And involve other people. When the school is notified about this, we immediately call the families and then we call police to report child pornography. I talked to the police officer this week who interviewed a bunch of students and their families, spoke with them, and that is one of the steps in the process is the police come and counsel and explain consequences. The police officer let me know that when a student is 16 years old, they can be arrested for sending photos for child pornography or what's called revenge pornography, where if somebody breaks up with someone else, then they send a photo. That also is an arrestable offense. So this is a really serious matter. Not to mention the fact that it is traumatizing to receive something that you're not asking for, that you're not prepared to receive. Nothing is private. Please report everything. If anybody ever sends you any media, the first thing that you need to do, which might be hard, is you need to tell an adult. You need to find a trusted adult who will listen to you. Students should not have to process this by themselves. Someone who will ask you how you're feeling, who will work to support you and determine what the next steps are. It might be blocking that person, but if somebody has sent you something that is unrequested, they might have sent it to other people also. So as a victim, it's our job to give you a voice and to make sure that the people who are perpetrators of these sorts of abuse are held accountable. I am so glad that nobody here is 16 so that we can learn from these mistakes, but they're harmful mistakes. And if you receive something, it is not your fault, but adults will be intervening. So that's a lot. I mean, I just said a whole bunch of stuff and it's very serious content. I'm going to run through the announcements. One thing, though, that is very clear is that we don't know what kinds of things will come to us, what kinds of interactions or negative interactions will happen to us. And it's okay, we don't have to know exactly what to do in every situation that happens, but what is helpful is good thinking and trusted community. So when something happens, we have to rely on thinking well, and sometimes when you are in the middle of receiving something that's difficult, you cannot think well, so you have to get the support of others. I think our intellectual virtues are really helpful in us caring for each other in that way. Okay. This is a strange transition, but we have a lot of fun things happening at school. The athletics continues, clubs are continuing. We still have 16 clubs. There are no after school programs or support throughout. It resumes when we come back from Thanksgiving break. And this is it's a chili cook-off. Lots of families were hoping to just have a really fun night together. Popsicle sales continue. One thing I want to say about character conferences, sixth graders, this is just like and anyone who's new in the seventh grade also, it's a brand new process, 20-minute conferences. The student is the first person to speak. So nobody can send their parents to a conference without the student going because the student is the important voice there. We want to hear from you, what your goals are, where you've seen yourself grow. Your parent will also answer the questions and the teacher will answer the questions. So that's happening all next week. And then we have a virtue shout out from Miss Schmidt.
Hi IVA, it's Miss Schmidt, and I wanted to give a shout out to this group of students in my Block 6 math class, Lily, Cesar, Manny, Zoe, and Cash, because they stuck around after class last week just because they wanted to make sure they thoroughly understood something. So great tenacity, way to stick with it until you got it.
So good. Okay, and with that, I'm ending our long announcements. Please process the things that you've heard with your advisory group if you can, with your parents especially, and I hope you all take good care of yourselves.